How's it going, guys? We still have some people trickling in. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. How are you, sir? I mean,
Great,
Roger.
good. It's been 4 weeks. Mike, you still haven't gotten used to it, but it's okay. Uh, so we might get a couple handful more people in here. But welcome to the last day of foundation programming, right? Day 19. Today it's gonna be a fairly quick class. We have the remainder of our lesson. Which when we start off, we're gonna start off very, uh, we're gonna start straight into it, going to the vowels and domains assignment. Then we will do a couple of the 20 regex exercises that we have. There are 20 of them, but after like the fifth and 10th one, you kind of get the hang of it. So we won't be covering all of them. We will cover ASCII characters very quickly, and then we will leave the remainder of class for just talking, right? Just having a conversation and discussing about what to expect in the next following, I believe like 15 weeks, 15, 18 weeks. Um, but thank you guys for those of you that are here today. You know, what I like to see is the last day of class. Those are the people that were able to see it all the way through. It's easy to show up the first week. It's once you get past that first week of foundation program, you get to see who's actually dedicated. Granted, there's always exceptions to everything, no matter what you're looking at. So I understand people have responsibilities or duties and whatnot, and then we also have the incident with the hurricane. Um, but a large majority of people they just decide, I'll just wait to the immersive program. So for those of you that are here, thank you guys. But we're gonna go ahead and just get straight into it so we don't waste any more time, guys. I will be recording a small part of the class just so we can talk about the regular expressions. But yesterday we finished off class with getting to the first assignment of regular expressions, which is gonna be vowels and domains, right? So I can share my screen. There should be two small assignments on this one. You have to write two different functions. All right, so I should be sharing my screen right now with the README for the vowels and domains. It's gonna be within your lesson 13. The first function you have to create is to return a list with all the words that start with a vowel, right? So you're gonna be given this input within your function, and it's gonna be a string that says errors should never pass silently unless explicitly explicitly silenced. And we see the output what it should be, errors unless and explicitly, which is why because they start with a vowel, unlike everything else. So using the regular expression methods that you guys were exposed to yesterday and uh, the different meta characters, your goal is to be able to capture these three. I know that they're returned in a list, right? And we know that there are some methods that can return certain patterns in a list. And then the second function you're gonna have to create is to return a list of emails that all have the domain of Gmail. So this isn't gonna be a perfect regex pattern. Um, if you guys ever actually try to build a real like pattern with regex to capture like realistic emails and all the possible combinations, you will be surprised how long that pattern is. This is a very, very simplified version of it. But essentially, you just capture everything that has the domain of Gmail and return it in the list. But yeah, we'll start off with those. I will give you guys actually before I even break you off into the your time, I want to talk about that Regex 101 website that Gary posted in the chat yesterday. Regex 101 is a very powerful website for regular expressions. I swear by it. It's a great website. I use it every single time. So the website literally just regex101.com will bring you to something very similar to this. Um, it should already be somewhat of a default to what you're going to be working with, but on the left side, you probably just have to adjust um, the Python. Notice that you can put what kind of functions you're looking for, and then we have quick reference guides here to and to help you with the meta characters if you forget. We can use something very simple. I will use the which can we use? I'll use the email one, for example. I'm going to use my Coplatoon email, because that's my professional one, roger@coplatoon.org. If you were trying to capture, oh my bad, the text string needs to be here, right? If I was trying to capture, right, this email, as you start writing your regular expression, you'll see different parts start getting highlighted in your text string, and that's the highlight is telling you what you are currently capturing. Notice that it kind of already pre-builds your regular expression. We see the R here, and then the quotation marks opening up, telling you that this is how the format should be. You're able to just copy and paste right here, copy that pattern for you that you create. So you can paste it directly into your code. But here, if I was trying to capture, let's say this entire email, like I'm trying to grab this email, then I would want to start building it, right? So what I want to do? Well, essentially I would want to grab, we see here that we have Roger, right? So I know that I want to capture uh, these 5 words or these 5 letters, and it would be A through Z. So as I type in A through Z, notice that it highlights Roger, right? It highlights Roger because it's able to capture that. But it stopped at the ER, right? It stopped at the ER. I went through A through Z. Actually, it did not capture it. I'm sorry, it did not capture it. Let's go through A through Z and then let's put plus equals, and then we're gonna wrap this around within brackets, right? Essentially, what this will be saying is I want to capture um anything between A through Z, and then the plus will be as long as it appears multiple times. All right, so I can capture multiple letters that are A through Z with the plus. Notice here that I capture Roger, I capture Kobato, and the org, right? Because I'm capturing the occurrences of multiple characters, right? Thanks to that plus sign, multiple characters that are from A through Z, right? And it's able to capture the first group, the second group, and the third group, or essentially match. So I'm able to capture the occurrence of any character from A through Z that are back to back. We used a plus sign here, but we did talk about other appearances. We have the plus sign, and we have what was it? I can't even think of the meta character from the top of my head. It was the plus sign. I want to say it's the asterisk. There we go. All right, so we have the asterisk, the plus sign, and the question mark. So plus sign is one or more occurrence of. Right, so it's capturing at least one or more occurrence of A through Z. That means even if Roger was just R, right, there's only one letter, it would capture that. Let's go ahead and put Roger. We have 0 more occurrence as well. Right, so that would do the same thing as well. Even if it was an empty string, it could capture it. Or the question mark, 0 or more of A as well, right? But notice that it's also able to grab individual matches. So it increases the matches of what I'm capturing when I use the question mark. The brackets are a single character of A, B, or C, right? Right, a single character or of A, B, or Z. But because I have the plus sign, it says I can grab multiples of those. So that's the first part of that. And then I'm gonna want to capture that @ symbol, right? I need to be able to capture any character from A to Z, right? Multiple occurrences of it. And then after that, I need to follow it by an @ sign. But if I put the @ sign, I might get an issue here. right? The moment I put the @, I'm no longer capturing Coplatoon or the org. Because what this regular expression is saying is, hey, I want to capture uh any character from A to Z that can occur more than once, and then after that characters are captured, it has to be followed by an @. So it captures this first group, but it won't capture anything else. Why? Well, because Coplatoon is not followed by an @, Coplatoon.org is not followed by an @, so this is not captured. So once again, I need to do A through Z here, and then multiple occurrences, right? If I don't add the multiple occurrences, it's going to only capture one occurrence of a character from A to Z. So add that +, it captures this whole part. Once again, read this Regex pattern. I'm saying, hey, I'm going to capture multiple occurrences of characters from A to Z that afterwards are followed by an @, and that @ is followed by one or more occurrences of A to Z again. And that's where it stops, right? Because after the @ we're only capturing characters from A to Z, but we're not capturing this dot. And if I were to put that dot, it's gonna match any character except new lines, right? Well, that's not exactly accurate. Sure, it's gonna capture that dot sign, but what if this email had something like a apostrophe? Well, okay, sure, buddy. Like, what if that instead of a dot sign, this email for whatever reason had an apostrophe and not a dot? Well, that's not what an email looks like. It's supposed to have a period, right? So we have to specify the fact that we want to capture the character of a period, not the meta character symbol, which is a period, right? And how do we do that? Uh, well, we use the escape character, right? We use escape character, which is the backward slash. So if we put a backward slash on that dot, right? It's gonna capture it matches the character period, right? So it'll capture only if it's a period. Notice that when I put an apostrophe, it won't capture it anymore because we're looking specifically for the character that is a period. All right, so we are able to capture that. And then after that period, it needs to be followed by some kind of characters as well. That could be A through Z. Why A through Z? Because it could be a .org, it could be a .com, .net, you know, those different variances. So after the period, I need to capture characters from A to Z. Notice that because I only did A to Z with these brackets, no +, it's only capturing an O, right? It's only one occurrence. So I want to do one or more occurrences. So I do the +. And this regex right here is able to capture the entirety of my Coplatoon email, right? A to Z plus at A to Z plus / period, and then A to Z plus. And that was able to capture my entire email. And you can use regex 101 to build your regular expressions with some kind of test string, so you can see how that regex pattern is working. And regex 101 is an amazing tool. So I wanted to go through that demo before I let you guys continue with this, so you can use that in the example, and that should help you with your second function. So because of that, I'll only give you guys 10 minutes instead of 15. So take between 5:45 to 5:55 to give that a try. All right, guys, let's go ahead and come back so we can talk through the vowels and domains. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, I'm sure. Okay, cool. We're probably going to use the regex website so we can kind of build this as we talk through it, right? So I'm gonna keep it here readily available. Let's check out the README and okay. Can you guys hear me, guys? Very quiet call today.
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Okay, good. It's just weird talking to myself whenever it's just so quiet. I hate small classes for this exact reason because, for one, smaller classes need less people that have their cameras on. Like every single one of you guys has it off. And less people talk, and just feel like I'm talking to myself. Thank you, Kim. Very nice of you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward with this. So the first one is gonna be the writing function that returns list, right? So, we already know that we have to import our regex module. So we're gonna go and do import RE, and I don't know why this one doesn't have a specific readme to this assignment, right? And we're gonna define our function. We can call this words starting with vowel, right? Doesn't really matter. The main point is that we were trying to use this as our regex example. So words starting with, why am I using function? Long D with vowel. Okay. Now we are going to create our pattern. So we're going to do a variable that's going to hold our pattern. I'll just keep it as empty right now, and then we'll have our result. And this result will have our re.findAll method. And then we will return whatever our result is, right? So we're gonna use the find all because if you guys recall from the slides, the find all will allow us to return something specific. Where's that? Right. So find all will return to you guys a list of your matches, right? And that's kind of what we're trying to do here. We're trying to return this list right here. So we are going to create this, and I'm going to take this string, and I'm going to use the regex 101 to my advantage. I'm going to go ahead and copy the string here, and we're trying to find only words that start with a vowel. All right, only words that start with a vowel. Sorry, so thirsty. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up my brackets here, and I'm looking for my vowels, which are gonna be A, E, I, O, U. Right? I can't do A through Z because that's obviously the entire alphabet. So I'm gonna be very specific here with the ones I'm trying to look for: A, E, I, O, U, lowercase. But I'm also looking for the capital case ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in A, E, I, O, U. All right. So I'm looking for either lowercase or capital letters, right? Because either the word might be the start of the sentence or it might be a word in the beginning of it. And then we see here that's capturing all the vowels within here, and they're all individual matches, right? And you kind of see how they're individual matches because they alternates the color on this website. It goes like a baby blue and then like a blue, and the baby blue then blue, and just like it's a lighter and darker shade for every other match, and that kind of lets us know that these are not the same match. If they were the same match, even like if they're back to back, they would be the same color. So I know these are all different matches, and also by the fact that my pattern is only going to capture one instance of this character at a time, right? And how do we solve that? Well, we have different meta characters that we can use, and if we go to them, we can see we can find one that gets for the starting, right? So start of the string. So the caret here is supposed to grab for the start of the string. So if we put the A here, we will see that's going to grab the start of the string. But notice that that is specifically for the entirety of the string. It's only going to capture the very first one if it's the start of the string, and that's not exactly what we are looking for. And there is a different one that we can use. And I don't remember how this works. I just remember that this is what I used last time. But I used the /B. /B, it says here assert position at a word boundary. I do not know how that works. All I know is for some reason it's gonna capture the different words that start with uh English is my second language, so I'm not exactly sure what it's trying to say. If you guys can explain this to me in a different manner, please, I encourage it. All I know is by doing the /B before the letter choice, it's gonna capture that vowel at the start of the word, right? I'm assuming I'm trying to dissect this. It says a position at a word boundary. I'm gonna assume the word boundary is it's because of the space, so the boundary will be the left and the right of the word. And that's kind of what it's trying to tell me. That's what I'm assuming. So we'll just leave it at that. Just know that for some reason the /B meta character it's gonna grab me the start of that vowel from each word. But now we are only grabbing the vowel and we want the entire word as a whole. So for one, the first character needs to be just the vowel, right? Afterwards, I do not care whether it's a vowel or not. So I'm not going to put no plus sign here or whatever. It just needs to be one occurrence, right? And it's doing that for me. After that vowel is collected, anything that comes afterwards can be whatever the heck it wants to be from A to Z, a lowercase, and even A to Z capital case, right? Uh, and we see here it starts capturing that second character, but we want either one or more occurrences. So we're going to use that plus sign. But actually, what if there's an A in between here, like should never pass silently a bridge, whatever, right? That A, would it capture it because we are putting the plus sign? What is a plus sign? It says one or more of A, right? So we might not want to use the plus sign because it's going to say it has to be one or more. So we had the word A here. Notice that it's not grabbing it because our pattern is supposed to have at least one or more of a second character after that vowel. So the plus sign isn't the most ideal. We might want to use an asterisk. And notice that it's not going to capture that specific letter. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. So this right here is going to capture exactly what we were looking for. And then we go ahead and copy this. I'm going to bring it back to our code. And this is how you guys are going to honestly use it, Regex, whenever you guys are developing your application. You will have your location where you're trying to put your regex. It's so much easier if you just go and use a website that allows you to visualize what your regex is doing. And then within here, we go ahead and put the R before it, and then add our regex inside of it, right? And then define dog. It's going to take the pattern as the first argument. The second argument will be the string we're trying to use. We'll pass in the input string here as an argument, and then we'll use that input string. I'll call it input string. The input string will be the second argument within the find all method, and then we can return result. And then we can call this function words starting with file. I'm going to create that string and pass it in here. And when we run this, I'm not getting anything because obviously I'm not printing anything out. So let's put the word print around this function call. I'll run it again, and we see it's printing out errors unless and explicitly, exactly like it wanted us to print out, right? So that's working perfectly. All right, that takes care of the first assignment. Next, we're gonna go to the second one, which we kind of already covered without trying, but essentially we have to create another function that uses a regex expression to return a list of emails that all have the domain of Gmail. So I'm gonna go ahead and define this function. I'm gonna say Gmail emails, right? It should take in that string of emails. I'll call it input string again. It don't matter. Input string, right? We're gonna do something very similar to how we did the first function, where we're gonna create pattern. Results is equal to re.find all. Actually, Mm, no, this should be substitute. Sub, because we have to take these emails and make them say Gmail. Notice how they have XYZ, ABC, and Cisco. So we need to substitute for this one. And then afterwards, we need to return results. So let's take this practice string of emails. And I'm going to use this as my test string. And let's erase this. Well, we are essentially trying to substitute. I can put the substitute here. How do I get rid of this one? Does this stay? I've never used the substitute one here, but let's try it out. We are going to try to enter your replacement value here. We want to replace, it should be gmail.com, right? So, okay, I see how this works. So we still need the regular expression part up here. We write the regular expression, our test string, what we should substitute it with, and then this could be the result right here, I believe. Okay, so up here we can make our pattern. And we want to essentially grab any email. Well, by looking at this string, right, we need to replace everything that comes after the at, right? After the at needs to be replaced with Gmail, right? The .com, it seems like it's standard across all three. So we need to be able to grab anything that comes after an at and before a period. So let's say at, and then open and close brackets. We want to grab A through Z, and then let's do capital A through Z to grab even uppercase ones. And there's an easier way to do this. I think for if we use the W, what's the W one? I think W grabs any word character, right? We can probably do at W plus. Maybe not. Let's keep it A through Z. It's cool. A through Z. So we're gonna capture anything that comes after an at symbol with A through Z lowercase, A through Z capital case. We will say one or more currents, right? And then before it, it's gonna have, or after it should have a period. That's what we want to capture. And we're going to replace it with at gmail.com. Let's remove the com. Okay, there we go. So notice this is my pattern. I'm grabbing the at symbol, and then the at symbol after the at symbol, it should have the A through Z lowercase and capital case, one or more occurrences of these characters, and it's going to be before a period, right? That's what I'm trying to capture. And we see here it's able to grab those. And then the substitute, what am I going to substitute that? Well, I want to substitute it with at gmail dot. Right. So instead of saying at XYZ dot, it should be at gmail dot. And we see here what the result of that pattern is for. So that's how we use the substitute method within the regex one. We can copy and paste this pattern, come back down here, and we can paste it here, guys. Ensuring that we put the R here and quotation marks. And then the substitute field, what do we want to substitute? Well, we want to substitute with our pattern. We want to replace it with at gmail dot. And then what do I want to substitute in? The input string. So I should be able to copy and paste this input string here. And then call the function Gmail's emails. Enter the input string, and if we run it, we get our formatted string. Freaking awesome. Do I have any questions of how that was accomplished, guys?
No,
Okay.
not for me.
Awesome. Next we will cover our ASCII practice. No, I'm sorry, not ASCII practice. The next part will be, where's it at? Regex practice. We're gonna go to Regex practice. You're gonna find a large pie document, and it's gonna have roughly about 20, I believe. Yeah, 20 different problems, right? Your goal is to complete 5. We're gonna do 5 of these, right? Afterwards, the rest of them are gonna be up to you guys if you want to do them on your own for more practice with regular expressions. If not, it's okay. But 5, and then anything afterwards is gonna be extra credit to you guys. All right. So time is 6:12. Take from now to 6:30 to do these. Take a break at 6:30 to 6:40. At 6:40, we'll come back. I will cover them, and then we will talk about the ASCII values. And then we'll have our Q&A. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to come back. And we're gonna go ahead and continue with the lesson. So we're working on the regex practice questions 1 through 5. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So you should have the regex practice.py. It should look very similar to this. At the very top of this file, we are going to import our RE module to allow us to use regex. And then we're just gonna go ahead and define every function right after the question. The very first one was to write a function that uses a regex expression to return Boolean true if the string that is passing contains only upper and lower case letters. Example, we have the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And then this returns false. Why? Maybe because there is a space and a period. Right? We have space and a period in the string. So it's not just upper and lower case letters, whereas Python exercise 1, we have the underscores and no period at the end, right? And this returns true. Upper and lower case letters. But it doesn't say anything about spaces. All right, let's give it a try. I'm assuming it's lowercase, or I'm sorry, the underscores is acceptable, but spaces and periods are unacceptable. So we're gonna define this function. We're gonna call this is alpha numeric and then underscore. Right. So we're looking for upper lowercase letters, and with the exception of the underscore, and we're gonna take in once again our input string. Very similar to before, we create our pattern. And this one is going to be the match method. We're going to try to match whether it's true or false. If we get anything, it should come back as either true or false, if it's empty or not. So let's use the match method, and we are going to grab. How do we work this? Okay. Well, let's try it out. Let's take this string and let's bring it into we're gonna bring it into our regex 101. So we come here. Let's
When you get a chance, Roger, can you zoom in 1 or 2 clicks on your VS Code?
of course. I'll do when we get back to it. But can you see the regex one okay or no?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So we're gonna see if we can essentially we should be able to capture this entire string, right? We need to be able to capture this entire string by by only using methods of grabbing upper and lowercase characters in the underscore. Right? If we only use a regex pattern that only captures that, then if it captures the entire string, that means it's true. If for whatever reason, after we create that pattern, we don't capture one character of whatever it may be, then obviously it should be false because we couldn't capture that. So we're gonna create that by saying A through Z lowercase and then A through Z capital case. That'll grab practically the first option, which was like upper or lowercase letters. We want to grab one or more occurrence. And then we also want to grab something else, right? We said the underscore, so we should be able to grab underscores. Notice that this one, it doesn't capture the entire string. It does not capture the space or the period. But then if we use the one that is supposed to be captured, like Python exercise 1, this one returns true. Why does this one return true? Hey, there's a 1 in there. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't read the entire readme. If it only contains upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and underscores, nobody corrected me. No one corrected me. I look so dumb on camera. Thanks, guys. Uppercase, lowercase letters, numbers, and underscores. So essentially, we need to be able to get A to Z lowercase, A to Z capital case, 0 through 9, and the underscore. Right. So Python exercise 1 works, but obviously this won't work because there's spaces and there's a period. Right. But the Python exercise 1 works with this right here, precise what you call it? What am I saying? Precise pattern. So this should work. Let me come back here. You say zoom in. So let me zoom in real quick. Is that better?
Yes,
Put
thank
it
you.
here. We're going to add our pattern in here. As we put the pattern, we are going to add our pattern here, and we want to match it with our input string. And it should, if we to return Boolean match. Let's see what this not Boolean match result. Let's see what this gives us. Print is alphanumeric underscore. Let's add the first one. What does this give? It returns true because it would capture it, but what do we do? This. True as well. What else can we do for this one? If we don't use match, we can find essentially if we get back the match, what we can do, say if input string is equal to result dot match index 0, we can return true, else return false, because that means there's something that we couldn't catch in that string. Let's try that out. RE match has no attribute match. What are you talking about, guy? Let's print out result. Let's print out result. What is result doing? Oh, my kids is doing this freaking apartment, dude. Oh my god. Why do you have a kid? All right, result. So notice that result does have a match, guys. It does have a match. So I should be able to do results. What was the method? was like dot something. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? For match in matches. Where's the match one? I don't know all these guys by memory, so I do apologize. Dot match. Dot span. Dot hello. How do we grab? Why am I having issues? It has no attribute dot match. What does it have then? Tell me, what does it have? Should I just do a comparison? So this gave me false, which it's supposed to give me false. Because obviously it won't match. But what if I do Python exercise 1?
You
So
did
is it-
import RE, right? It's just scroll down. Oh, you
Yes,
did.
I did.
Oh.
Why is it not comparing the match? Right? Why don't you give me match dot match? It's not gonna work. But what does it have? Dot span? There's no way span will work. There's no way span will work.
Roger.
I didn't work. Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say, what if you did dir on the result to see what it if it does have anything?
DIR? I'm sorry, what do you mean by DIR?
dir open parentheses, because like when you do that on an object, it'll show you like all the methods that's associated with it if it is an object.
Really? You're
Yeah.
lying.
No,
We're
I'm,
just like this print DIR result?
yeah. Yeah.
No
So
way.
like, yeah. So like,
Yo,
if
get
yeah.
out of here.
Yeah.
That is new to me. Thank you. Okay. I've never had to use this. Okay, let's check it out then. We had span. We use span. And group. If we use group, with that, I'm assuming it will give us the first group. Let's print that out. Actually, print result dot group. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Python. Jesus Christ, dude. Good stuff. Let's go. So it's dot group. I know, was it crazy? Let's go. Dot group, baby. True. Okay. Now we're working. So Mike, you just blew my mind. Mike. See, we learn as much from you guys as you guys learn from us. Now let's try out the quick brown fox one. Just to verify it's the same thing. False. Let's go. Let's go. We're cooking with chicken, guys. Good stuff. All right. So that takes care of that one. So what do we do, guys? We create match, which it should capture the entirety of the string if it's working the way it should, right? Where we're only grabbing numbers, uppercase and lowercase letters, as well as underscores. If obviously if it's supposed to be true, the entire string will be captured. Therefore, we can compare the captured string that was saved in group to what was initially passed in as an input, and if they're the same, then it's true, right? Obviously, if they're not the same, that means there's one character somewhere, one or more that we couldn't grab. So there's characters that shouldn't be in there, therefore it will be false. So that's all we did. We just compare it if they're the same. There's another way to do it. I'm pretty sure some of you guys probably did it a different manner. But this is just one way. Okay. Sweet, guys. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna comment this out. I'm gonna go ahead and move forward to the next exercise. So this one was to write a function that uses a regex expression to return the boolean true. The string that's passed in starts with the number 5. All right, let's try out. So we're gonna say define starts with 5. It's gonna take in an input string again. Our pattern. And this is really easy. I don't have to go and kind of format it. It should be something as simple as just saying like caret 5 All right, because true, the string that's passing starts with the number 5. It should be something as simple as this, where you do caret 5 as a pattern. All right, because we've already found out that by putting the caret, it's going to capture the first item in the string. All right, then we can do results, and we can say re dot. We can match this pattern with our input string. We're gonna return result, and let's print out result dot group now that we have that awesome cool method. Result dot group. I want to see what this is doing. We are going to, I didn't put the print statement here. Print, call this function, starts with, do we need to print it? Yeah, we did. Print starts with 5. And then I'm going to add the input in here. We see we have, this is going to return false. This will return true. If we run this, expected string, obviously, I forgot the quotation marks. Okay, so we did print the group. It did capture the 5. So if this works like it should, right? Then there should be a 5 in there, right? Because it's only going to be 1 5 because it's the start of the string. That caret, the way we have it set up, it's only going to capture the start of the string, which will be a 5. So we should be able to just compare as well, or check if it's a 5. So we saw it here when I did use the 5, right? Not only did it, when I print out the group, do I see it's a 5, but when I print out when I return the result, it's returning an object, right? And the match was a 5. So all we have to say is if result dot group is equal to 5, return true. If not, return false. All right, simple as that. And then this should return true. Yep, that works. Let's just get rid of this 5, making it into a 7, and it should return false. Why is it false? Well, when it gets to line 30, it's gonna check if there's a 5 in there, right? We're gonna check if the result dot group is equal to 5, and it's gonna fail. So it's gonna get an error. None type object has no attribute group. So it never even gets this part right here. So we can say if result dot group, if result dot group and result dot group is equal to 5, then do the following. It's still gonna give me an issue because it has no attribute group. Why did that one work then? Okay. I know it. Essentially, we can say, let's try return Boolean result. It's gonna be a true or false if it captured it or not. Let's put a 5 in here. There we go. That's return true because there's a result in there. And if we add a 6, it should return false because there's no group in there. Okay, there we go. This works better. So we take whatever is assigned into match, and if it captures the 5, there's going to be something in there. So it's going to return true as a Boolean. Return the result. If there's an actual object in there, by wrapping it with Boolean, it will tell us true or false. If there's no result in there, there's like no actual match in there. When we put a Boolean in there, instead of getting none type, right, it'll give us the false. To where we're to manipulate that to check if there's an object or not, right? Because for some reason we're getting an error here whenever we try to use the dot group method, because it will say that it's not an object. So because it's not an object, it doesn't recognize this method that I'm calling the dot group method that the object is supposed to have. but it doesn't have it because it's not an object. Make sense? It's only going to be an object whenever I capture something. So that's how that one works. Cool. Give me 10 seconds. Let me make sure my kid is not burning my apartment down. Okay, I'm back. No, it's just a light fire. All right, moving on. So that was question number 2. Next, gonna be write a function that uses a regex expression to return Boolean true if the string that's passed in has a number at the end. Yeah, Baba, that's super cool. So I'm gonna start this. We're gonna call this define ends with number. All right. We're trying to see if the string is ending with a number. We're gonna take it an input string. We'll have the pattern again. And then result. And this one we can use, I guess we could do match or we can do search. All right, so we can do search. Now, how do we do this? Well, I'm gonna take this string and let's try it out. It's a simple one too, if I'm being honest with you. But let's see what it looks like. All right, test string. Right. So the thing here is that the keyword is at the end, right? We're looking for something at the end. It's a number. Obviously, everything else here is our character is like alphanumeric, right? But because it's a number, we can just use the \d. That's going to capture any number from 0 to 9, which makes it very simple. And what makes it even simpler is the fact that we can use one of the end of string methods, right? Because the end of string is like the keyword there. This $, by putting it to the right of it, will only grab the 7 if it's at the end of the string. Let's take it off and let's add a number before the end. We see here it's grabbing that 2, but we add the question mark. No, not question mark, the $. It no longer grabs that 7. It's only going to grab the very end of the string. Nice dog, Kim. So yeah, he's just peeking over your chair. It's okay. So \d and the $sign should really do it for us. So because it's at the end of the string, that was honestly the keyword right there. So we can use \d and then question mark. Let's add the R here. Wait, it wasn't question mark. It was a $sign. What's up, buddy? You don't want to watch Mickey Roaster Racers? Okay, I'll change you in a bit. Give me a second, buddy. I'll give you a bath too. Give me a second. So we're gonna add the pattern here. And we're gonna add our input string. And let's see what that does. If it finds it, it should return. Let's see what it returns. Print results. Let's return so I don't get error. Can you guys hear him talking or no? I just want to make sure so I know I thought the okay, perfect. So let's go and call this function end with number. And I'm gonna add the string here, A, B, C, D, E, F, 7. And let's just, well, it's still gonna print something because I'm putting print there. So if I run this, what is line 44? What is this printing? False. Oh, I need to comment this out. I'm sorry. Let me comment that out. But it is printing a match, right? It's grabbing that 7. So it will have a match. If it ends with a digit, it will have a match. There will be something in here. So therefore, we can once again check whether it's true or false. So we can just say return the Boolean of our result. If it doesn't have a match, there shouldn't be an object. Therefore, they won't be in a group. We can do a very similar that we did it on the last question. Let's print this out again. Let me put this. You want a bath? In a bit, buddy. In a bit. There we go. We see true for this 7, but we get rid of the 7, we run it again, we get false. So very similar to the last one, because it will capture something. If it has a 7, it saves it to a group there, making it true. All right, that takes care of that one. Let me get a volunteer for number 4 to see if I get someone to walk through their explanation. Anyone want to share their code for number 4? It's mainly because I'm trying to just put something on for my son so he can get distracted. So anyone, please, if you're willing to volunteer, show us your code. Kim?
I would if I had code for it, but I don't.
Oh, you didn't get to it. Did anyone get to number 4?
I did not.
Really? Did I not give you guys enough time? I generally thought you guys would get that far. I'm not gonna lie. Okay.
The
What did-
regex,
Yeah.
the regex itself, it's I have done it, you know, as far as through the courses here, and I always have the reference because it just jumbles me up as far as how it's done. So it always confuses me.
Okay.
So I didn't get that
Kind
far.
of. I was kind of the impression that you guys were kind of solid on it. So, which is why I was kind of just going with it. Uh, do you guys have any questions? I feel like I'm so sorry. I'm giving you guys a disservice by not ensuring that you guys were good on this. Do you guys have any questions so far with anything that I've done or how I did it?
So I understand how you did it, and I get the regex it it itself. It's just the different quantifiers, or if it's this, if it's that. When you have to do a what is it, a negative lookup if not, or it's just special this to do this. So there's no questions from me, but you did a good job teaching it. A great job. So
You're on mute.
Thank you. So I'm sorry for that. Yeah, so please do stop me if there's something you guys struggle with. This is the first class that isn't too strong on regex. That's why I was kind of under like the impression you guys were good because I haven't had any questions or been stopped yet. Because typically most people understand this one. I didn't say that there's anything wrong with you guys. You guys were able to catch on to other subjects faster than other classes as well. So like every class has their pros and cons. So I do. I'm sorry for that. If you have any questions, do stop me. Right. Um, if you still feel like you're struggling with regex, don't feel discouraged. Right. It's one of those that you don't use it too often. Will you use it? Yeah, probably eventually. It does come up, and it is very helpful in different situations. But it's not something that's going to be like career breaking. Like, oh, I don't know regex, so I won't be successful. Like, no, it's fine. You guys will be fine. Okay. So next, we'll move on. I put Toy Story on for my son, so I'm good now. We're gonna do number 4. So write a function that uses a regex expression to return a list of all the instances of our dog or dogs. So first one, same concept, guys. Same concept. We're gonna do define. We're gonna say find dogs.
You got to
It
share
takes.
again, Roger.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Share. Okay. Share. Input string. Right. And then after inputting it, we're going to create our pattern once again. Pattern is equal to our open and close quotation marks. And let's get that first, right? Let's go ahead and create that pattern. I'm going to take this input string. We're going to go back to regex 101 and see how we can capture every situation of dog. Notice that the output here is dog, dog, dogs, dogs, dog. So whether it was a plural or a singular version of dog, it was able to grab either or and all the instances, right? So going back to regex 101, I can add this input string. All right, we can add priority list. Insert your replacement value here. We're not trying to replace this, so I don't think list will be that helpful. We'll go back to match. Okay. Here, I'm gonna do dog or dogs. And there's I guess 2 ways of doing it. Right? We could do DOG, right? And then add the S at the end of it, optional. All right. We're gonna want to grab dog, and then the S is gonna be optional, right? Or we are going to do something like this where we can say dog, add the pipe, and say dogs. So either or, it should be able to grab them. But let's stick to the first one. We'll say dog, add S as an option. I don't think it's liking this. Match the characters. Let's put. As a matter of fact, I don't think it's parentheses. I think it's brackets for this. There we go. Now it's working better. Notice the matches that it returns dog, dog, dogs, dogs, dog. Right. This right here should work perfectly fine. Before I was getting something weird here where when I had it in parentheses, it wasn't capturing the just dogs, but it was creating a whole different group here, with the S. Because of the functionality with the parentheses. So I have to use the brackets, these square brackets. So just like this, I'm able to capture dogs with S at the end. And then I should be able to do something like how do I grab multiple of these? Would it be like this? Dog, dog, dog. Actually, this should be fine, actually. Yeah, this should work. These are all different matches. Yeah, this should work. Dog, and then S will be option. We're trying to find all those. Yeah, I'm overthinking it. All right, so dog with the S being optional. We use the question mark. All right, coming back to the quick reference guide, you can find the question mark and it'll tell you 0 or 1 of a whatever that character is. So it'll still grab dog if S does not occur, right? 0, right? 0 occurrences. But it'll also grab dog if the S is present. We can go back here. We can add it here, DOG, brackets, add the S, right? And that question mark right after the brackets, letting them know, hey, DOG, that's the pattern we're looking for. We're looking for the pattern that essentially spells out dog. This specific character here within the brackets, this bad boy is gonna be optional, right? That's why this is in brackets. We have to put it in brackets because it won't recognize it the same. It's gonna think, if I'm correct, it's gonna think all of dogs is optional. Oh no, I'm pretty dumb. Never mind. It works the same. Dogs question mark next to the S. Wow. Well, I'll be damned. Okay, let's try it out. Hey man, I'm no subject matter expert on Regex, but you can kind of see how this works. Can I go there and kind of see what pattern works and what doesn't? I don't know what person could just spit out a Regex pattern and catch what they're looking for on their first try. I've yet to meet somebody like that. So we can go ahead and create result. And we're gonna say re.find all, right? We're trying to find all the occurrences of pattern within our input string. And let's print result and then return result as well. I want to see what is returning to us. Actually, we can just return result, and when we call the function print out what it says, we are going to copy this string. We run this, it grabs dog, dog, dogs, dogs, and dog. It grabs exactly what we're looking for. It works just as fine. Even if I believe, we use the curly brackets, or not the curly brackets, just square brackets, it'll do the same thing. But yeah, that's how it's gonna work. Sweet. All right, next one. Next one will be the last one we'll do for today for Regex. There will be 15 other ones that you guys are more than welcome to try out on your own. But this last one will be the end, so we can move on with the lesson. So write a function that uses a regex expression to return a list that only includes the numbers. So define, we'll call it extract numbers. It's gonna take, once again, an input string. Now the pattern. In the pattern, well, if we're really trying to grab numbers, that's simple, guys. What pattern do you think it's gonna take? Who can kind of start me off here?
Can you just do square bracket 0 through 9?
Yeah, you can do 0 through 9. Exactly. Yeah, square bracket 0 through 9.
Can you also do a / digit?
We can do forward slash this is just as well. Correct. Both of these will grab is the same result, right? Both of them are the exact same. 0 9 / D. It does not matter. And notice that there are sometimes the numbers are back to back. They're not just single digits. So we're gonna have to add the plus sign here, right? That'll only capture these bad boys. Yeah. So very simple one, guys. Result is equal to re.find all pattern and then input string, and then we return results. Then we can print extract numbers and then add our test result in here, or our test input, sorry. We run this 10, 20, 30. It works just like we expected it to work. Right. Cool. That concludes our regex example, guys. All right, that's gonna include the entire regex class. And we're gonna go ahead and move forward, close up regex, and talk about the last subject of the day. This is gonna be a very quick subject, and that's gonna be ASCII values. And the reason it's quick because you don't ever really use them. It's more of a just for your information kind of thing. Right. So that was a regex practice. Next will be intro to ASCII values. This is probably the smallest class we have within all our lessons, right? So pronounce ASCII, right? ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange, right? ASCII. I'm sure you guys probably, maybe at some point you didn't realize you probably saw this table in some shape, way, or form, right? It's based on the idea of using numbers to represent text. Pretty much all the text that you guys have that you can use in your computer, there's a number value to it, right? In this manner, entire blocks of text can be represented by a series of numbers that can easily be stored in a computer's memory, right? We see here like lowercase a is the letter 90. I'm sorry, not a letter, the number 97. Capital case A is 65, right? There is a way to change numbers to their ASCII variation, and that's kind of what the assignment's about. Right, ASCII is made of 128 characters. Here is pretty much the entire chart of what ASCII is. You can see the different characters that it has, from stuff like exclamation marks to division to the number values less than, the alphanumeric stuff, even the delete keys or delete character, everything, right? There's even like a hex variation of it. But yeah. So ASCII is a subset of Unicode. Unicode is the universal character representation for text in computer processing, regardless of platform, device, application, or language. If this goes over your head, that's okay. It went over mine the first time. So every character in every language, even emojis, have a number representation somewhere in the Unicode standard. It's almost just like a standard across the board for everyone to kind of base it off of. How else are we supposed to store these values in memory? All right. ASCII values in Python. So the way to turn a character into an ASCII value is by using the OR method, right? OR turns a character into an ASCII value. The char or char or whatever, however you want to pronounce it, is the CHR turns an ASCII value, an integer, into a character, right? Let's look at this code snippet. We have this variable called alpha lower, and it has a string of A, B, C, right? We loop through the string because essentially we can kind of use them as a list, right? We know that already. Strings are like pretty much lists. We loop the string for char in alpha lower. That's going to grab every single character in here. We're going to print the character, but notice they wrap it around the ORed wrapper. And that ORed wrapper is going to turn each letter into its ASCII value and see how it's being printed out. It's printed out 97, 98, and 99, right? That's because of what the characters are, A, B, C. Going back to our table here, if you go to the lowercase a, that's 97, right? The B, lowercase b is 98, lowercase c is 99, right? Lowercase and capital case, they both have their representative number to them, right? They are not the same. So we see here we print out the ASCII value for it. Then we have here a list, right? This list is a list of integers. We loop through the list. We grab all these integers, but this time instead of wrapping them in an order, they're being wrapped in the character wrapper, and this converts them into their represented, like their corresponding character, right, on the ASCII table. And we see ABC capitalized. And that's pretty much just how you manipulate the ASCII values in Python, right? It's not something that you guys are gonna be using very often, but or at all, if I'm being honest with you. But it's just nice to know. ASCII use cases, my bad. For coding challenges that ask you to shift certain characters in the alphabet, right? Converting the characters to their ASCII values and applying some arithmetic can solve this type of problem. So if you ever encounter a problem like that, ASCII can be useful. Just so now you know, right? The more you know, guys, that now I can convert this letter into a number, right? For general awareness, ASCII was the first major character encoding system for data processing. Remember that from the GUI to the memory on your computer, there's a lot of layers of abstraction. This is just another one. There is a student practice for ASCII characters. We can look at it. It's very underwhelming, if I'm being honest. Nothing crazy. You are just essentially just grabbing it and then shifting the numbers using the wrappers. I'm gonna leave this optional to you guys. You guys are more than welcome to try it out if you guys want to mess around with ASCII, but it's not anything big, right? So final thoughts of Regex and ASCII. So both of these things are just tools on your tool belt, right? That's the biggest thing, tools in your tool belt. In Python, you can accomplish pretty much everything without the use of these tools, but it's always nice to have them. Everything that we covered, from common problem solving patterns, recursion, searching and sorting, regex, ASCII values, bubble sort, all these different stuff, guys. They're just tools for your tool belt. They're not mandatory to know, but it is nice to be familiar with certain patterns, algorithms to assist you in the future. I got done with a staff meeting today with Coplatoon, and they're improving a lot more on the curriculum when it comes to leak code problems and actually implementing a lot more on data structures and data algorithms. That was not the case when I was coming through. It was a very small class, and then we kind of didn't touch it for the rest of the immersive program. So I went like 3 months without doing leak code. And then I graduated and I had I told you guys the story, right? I went and had an interview, and I didn't realize how heavy interviews involve leak code and data structures and algorithms. That's changing. I don't know if it's going to change for y'all's cohort. I'm pretty sure there's probably like changes already in place that are making it more so it's more frequent that you guys are doing these problems. But if you guys don't do them, it's a perishable skill. Like everything in life, these are perishable skills, right? If you guys don't practice something, you're not gonna. You can't just pick it up a year later, guys. That code is not like that. Code is not like riding a bicycle. If you don't do it, you're gonna forget it. I guarantee you. I know that because it happens to me all the time. right? There's stuff that I won't practice for a while, right? Right now, I'm doing some game development on the side. Um, and when I go back and start working with like front end applications, I'm probably gonna forget some of the methods and some of the stuff doing things. I'm probably gonna have to go back, check my notes, before I do a quick Google search because it happens, right? We lose these skills because we don't practice them. Especially as full stack software developers, we we're supposed to be jacks of all trades, right? Um, you're supposed to know a little bit of everything, know like the start and end process and everything in between to a certain extent, enough that you know where to find the answer if you don't know something very specific, right? Uh, Whereas people who decide to just specialize on just front end, I'm a front end developer, and that's all I freaking do. These guys get great at creating these front end applications, right? And then same thing for the back end. And then you'll realize that if you talk to a back end developer and they're trying to do some front end, they probably like we super rusty on it, right? Because that's what happens, right? We end up specializing on stuff, and we end up focusing on that, and we forget about some of these other skills. But that's the nature of the trade. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording now.